Hey! Over here, shit, Nick.
Should be fun.
Well, ding ding.
Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another Walking Dead video for today, and in this one, we're going to be doing our very first review for 11B of The Walking Dead, guys. This is going to be doing my video review for Season 11, Episode 9, the mid-season premiere. This one is titled No Other Way.
This place is like a city from before. People who can't fit in get cast out.
So you found a way to get outside the walls. What do you want from me?
Brick by brick and block by block, putting the world back together the way it was.
Alright guys, and The Walking Dead is back. So, we are back with our review for The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 9, No Other Way. So, guys, I cannot wait to get into this episode. This episode was so good. So, before we get into that, I guess I'll kind of start off by saying if you have not seen this episode yet, definitely a spoiler warning. Definitely a spoiler warning. So, now that we've gone into that, now that we've kind of gotten all that crap out of the way, if you're still here, you want to hear my thoughts on the episode. So, what did I think of this mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead? Well, I thought it was a pretty good episode. You know, it was a pretty good episode. Are you freaking kidding me? It was great. It was freaking great. So, if anything, it's probably my favorite episode of the entire season, man. This episode was absolutely killer. So, if that doesn't describe how I feel about the episode, let me pop up the rating. This is a great episode of The Walking Dead. This is an absolutely great episode of The Walking Dead. So, okay. We're going to cover this episode. We're going to start from basically the beginning all the way till the end. So definitely, get ready because we're going to go into this, in depth. But I guess I'll kind of just say in this review, like I said, it's one of the best episodes Walking Dead's done in a while. I freaking love this episode with a passion. So, all right, let's get started. The episode begins, and we are right back where we left off. Right back after episode 8. We're right back into it. So, you get the arrows that fire, and right away the first shot I was intrigued, because you see the walker that gets hit by a friggin' one of these arrows and the explosives, and he blows up in front of the camera. As you see Maggie that of course splits off, you don't exactly know where anybody else is yet, we're kind of just, focused in with Maggie, and she runs into Fisher. Now, she pushes Fisher into the friggin' line of fire and kills him. So, okay, we get started with that. So Fisher gets killed. That was friggin' crazy. And she goes into a building, and basically you've got Maggie that, of course, goes into, you see a shelf, and, of course, Meridian used to be hers, so she knows all the sneaky places to hide, right? So she opens up the shelf. There's kind of a secret way to, hide, of course. And that is where you find Negan and Elijah, ended up. And Negan is basically saying, we got to kill every single last one of them, we got to get this, we got to finish the job. And you've got Carver that is kind of, in the hallways kind of looking for them. And you hear Leah that demands that if he finds Maggie, he kills her. So that's the intro. Great way to start things off. Absolutely thought it was, just a great way to start the episode off. So then we're back in Alexandria. So we've got Rosita, Diane, and Lydia that are killing a bunch of the dead, killing a bunch of walkers. Of course, this is when they realize that Judith and Gracie are not up there with them. And of course, that is kind of when things start to kind of go crazy. You got the walkers flooding in. You've got Judith and Gracie that are down there in the basement. And I really think that in terms of an environment, I think they really did a good job here. And might I just acknowledge, Judith was a freaking badass. I mean, killing the walkers, doing what she does, protecting Gracie like she did. Really, really cool stuff. And essentially, you cut back to outside, and Aaron and them are out there trying to put out the fires. And Aaron tells everybody else to keep going. But he hears Gracie's, call for help. And he's like, no, I got to go help, right? So he goes down there into the basement. And it looked cool in the trailers, but good lord, it was friggin' awesome in the show. He goes down there, total, taking control. Father of the Year award for this one, honestly. He goes down there, and he makes sure that Gracie and Judith get out of the basement, so that's how they get out. Aaron saves them, of course. He gets them out of there, and he basically goes down there, and then he says, don't worry about me. You get to safety. I'll deal with the walkers down here. So good. Such a cool scene for Aaron to do as he saves their lives. And Well, essentially, he's got some pretty close calls. He gets, tackled into the water. You get one part where he, like, smashes a walker's brain with his, a spike ball hand, and the brain matter goes all into the water. I think there was even a point where I saw, like, an eyeball in there floating around. I'm like, oh, my God. Yeah, the Walking Dead effects, man, they always stay the same. They're always great. So, anyway, you got that, and essentially after that, you got Aaron that is, kind of struggling to get out, even to a point where he's, like, up there on a friggin' pipe, and I'm like, okay, I know he survives because there's scenes of him later on, but if I didn't see those scenes in the trailer, I'd be freaking terrified because that is actually a really dire scene that he was in there. Anyway, you got Lydia that comes to his rescue, saves him, and basically says that, the reason why she did it, one, because obviously she did it because she did it, but the other reason is because Aaron would do it for her, right? So, really good. So that's kind of the Alexandria stuff right there. Now, in Meridian, okay, so Daryl, obviously after splitting off, he runs into a Reaper, who he fights in this room, like, full of Legos and stuff, which is really cool. Really cool fighting environment. He's trying to, like, knock the gun out of his hand and stuff like that. Really cool fight scene there, I'd say. And the Reapers in this one, like, they're just so hard to take down. Like, they're such good fighters. That's what's just so crazy about them, even to a point in this one where Daryl's, getting tackled and this and that, but it's like, holy frig, like, even Daryl's having a hard time, killing these guys. And basically, he basically uses the chokehold idea to kind of, take him down, which that's definitely a reference, if you ask me, for this episode of The Walking Dead. As you guys know, in 11A, I did this in the reviews, and I'm going to continue to do it in 11B. What is this weekly, like, reference in The Walking Dead? What's the weekly callback? I definitely think the chokehold is at least one of them. There's more in this one, but there's at least that one, which is really cool. And then, of course, Daryl hides, of course, like, into one of, like, the little closets. You've got, Leah that comes in. She's upset because, one of her guys is down. And then we're right back with Maggie, Negan, and Elijah. Now, this is intense. Maggie's trying to find every single way that she can out of there, but she can't find any way out of there. So you've got Carver that, of course, is, beating the crap out of Maggie. Maggie has no choice but to fight him. She's getting her ass kicked. You've also got Elijah that goes in there. He's getting his ass kicked. Carver is taking both of them out at the same time. Negan comes in from the other side of the hall, tries to, of course, take a few swings at him. Even Negan can't, like, take out Carver. Like, Carver is legit, he's not dying. Like, no one can take this guy down. And it's a really intense fight scene. Carver just takes out, legit, dealing with 3 people at the same time. And Maggie is legit about to get, like, murdered by Carver. So Negan sees this, and we get one of the best Negan scenes, I think, this whole season. He sees in another room a huge bell that he uses, right? And he goes in there, basically, he takes it off, and he uses it as he calls, Carver over there before he's about to finish Maggie off. And he's basically, like, sitting there, and he's like, oh, yeah, Maggie, I'm gonna kill you. And Negan, turns around, and he's like, hey, come on down here, right? He friggin' calls him over, and Carver's like, this should be fun, right? All cocky, like Carver always is. And what the hell does Negan do? He waits for Elijah. Elijah friggin' swings at him. Carver ducks. Carver flips back up, gets sand in the eyes, and hit in the friggin' head with a friggin', like, bell. And what the hell does Negan say? Ding, ding, bruh. Ding, ding. Like, I love that. That line, that is freaking awesome. I honestly, I jumped out of my seat when I heard him say that. So cool, man. So freaking cool. So, anyway, love that. That fight scene was phenomenal. Love that. And basically, you get Daryl that then comes back, and they take Carver hostage, and they use him against Leah. Now, Maggie even kind of calls him out as like, is it just because of the girl that you're doing this? And Daryl's like, no, it's for all of us. I'm doing this for us, like, for us to get the food that, we're supposed to have. So, meanwhile, also, that's not it for the fights, guys. We also got Gabriel with this, of course, this, priest. And they kind of talk about God and if Gabriel kind of hears him and stuff. And, they talk about, Gabriel kind of talks about how evil is and this and that. And you pray for these people and, like, why would you do that and stuff? And Gabriel almost kind of gets, like, sucked into his spell a little bit there for a few minutes. He kind of starts to really start listening to what this guy's saying. And then he hears the gunshots outside, and he's like, nope. He stabs him, kills him, and says, I don't believe anything he says. Again, great scene for Gabriel. And that's not it. We got another one for Gabriel coming up here. So Daryl tries to make a deal with Leah. He tells them to basically drop their weapons. Leah then reveals, as everybody steps outside, you got Daryl holding Carver hostage, that there's a sniper ready to snipe Daryl, Maggie, and the others whenever Leah tells them to. And it's like, great, what the hell are they going to do now? Like, they can all walk away, Daryl's trying to make a deal, and there's a sniper there. Nope, that's not it. friggin' the sniper up there apparently over time gets killed as Leah tries to get contact with him. He gets killed by who? Gabriel, who friggin' legit walkies her and says, "No, it's not your friend. My name's Gabriel. Now, you're going to put your weapon down, okay? Or else I'm going to start sniping your people one by one." So, oh man, that's two amazing Gabriel scenes in this one. Love that. And I love Negan's kind of reaction when he hears Gabriel too. He's like, friggin' right. Yeah, like Negan loves Gabriel. He thinks he's awesome. You can clearly get that from his reaction when he hears Gabriel, right? So that was a great scene for Gabriel. That was really cool. And basically, Leah and them surrender. They agreed to leave, and that's, kind of how everything ends up. And then Maggie's ego kind of kicks in a little bit, and she just cannot help herself. And Elijah reminds her of everything that the Reaper's done to her. And what does she do? She takes out her gun, and she literally kills every last Reaper, and even shoots Leah in the arm. Like straight up shoots her in the arm. Now, Leah, on the other hand, survives, but every other Reaper is killed by Maggie in that scene. So badass. And the music they use too, freaking A+. I love that. That was phenomenal. So, that was so good. So you've got Daryl and all of them. They basically, at that point, they get the food, but Daryl tells Leah, like, we could have been something, but you know what? Like, I don't want to ever see you again, so leave before I change my mind. And that is basically how we end things with Leah. So it looks like Leah's going to survive. I don't know when we're going to see the character again, but it does seem like she's going to make it. So that was the end of the Reapers. Man, that was freaking epic. I mean, I've got my problems with this group, but holy frig, this was exciting. I mean, damn, like, man, there's just, wow, really just impressed by all of that. So, oh man, so that's not even it, guys. Let's also talk about the big character death in this one now. So, Alden in this one, as the war ends, our characters get the food. Daryl and Gabriel go back, obviously, and the rest, they go back to Alexandria. Maggie goes to check on Alden, and right where she left him. Now, I can now talk about this because you guys now know the episode. Alden's death was spoiled for me, but it was not in this fashion, so I was still slightly surprised. But I did know going into this episode that Alden was going to die. That is something I unfortunately knew, and, that kind of sucks because, honestly, I would have liked to be surprised. But the thing about Alden's death, it's off-screen. That's the one thing I will say. It is kind of annoying, but it does kind of, bookend that Reaper storyline a little bit. It's kind of crazy. Like, the Reaper storyline starts with them leaving him, and it ends and he's dead. It has that feel to it. I do like it. And we can now say we have had a big death this season. So I can, I guess I can kind of say, like, we finally did see a death. Now, Negan after this decides to split off and basically go his own way. Now, that I also did not expect to see. Negan basically tells Maggie that he's going to leave and kind of just, go off on his own. He basically exiles himself. And, that was... Thing is, I would be pissed about that, but the thing is, the trailer has legit spoiled that he is in this season in a few more episodes, which in this case, I'm actually happy that they showed us, because if not, that I probably would have been pissed at this episode. I've been like, okay, why is Negan leaving? Like, why are you guys getting rid of that character? But Negan is still going to be in the show. I don't know why he left, but I think it's just because of the chaos of it all. Plus, because Maggie's kind of going kind of crazy. So, yeah, that could be part of it, I guess. So, anyway, we got that. Now, let's also talk about, this part was freaking nuts. You've got basically everybody that gets back to Alexandria. Everything is going well, and we see the reunion between Daryl and Connie. So we do get that. I thought that was really fantastic. Daryl is, he's like, I've got so many questions to ask you, right? He's like, hey, you want an apple? We got all this food now, and it's kind of like this nice scene, even, Gabriel's back with Rosita, everybody's, back with everybody, and Gabriel, I really like Gabriel in this one, because then you get the moment that we've been waiting for, and this is obviously what we all thought was going to be Cliffhanger, the Commonwealth showing up at the end of the episode, and that is indeed what we saw. They show up at the gates, and unlike what I expected, Eugene actually made an appearance in this episode. I didn't expect Eugene to be with the crew. I really didn't. But I guess he was probably there to show them the route. That's probably what it was. But anyway, he's like, we're all friends here. He kind of steps out in the middle, line of fire, and he says, like, guys, chill out, So that was really cool. And, and the Commonwealth, man, really cool to see them arrive. Now, I will also point out one thing, and I'd like to see if anybody else caught up to this, because this is another callback for this episode. on one of the Commonwealth's vehicles, or like whatever, there's like a sign that's there, and I'll try to get a picture of it so you guys can see. There is a screenshot of the Commonwealth, and it says on it, fight the dead, save the living. Which, if you guys are not familiar with what that connects to, if that sounds familiar to you, that is the saying of The Walking Dead Season 3, except back then it was fight the dead, kill the living. Now it's fight the dead, save the living. So that's really cool. That's really cool. I like that they did that. And if they don't put that in advertisement somewhere, that's going to be a missed opportunity, because that is friggin' awesome. So anyway, especially for a final season, they definitely should use that. So Lance makes him an offer. He tells him, like, look, I know you guys are struggling right now, and I know this looks bad, and, you know, everything's not going well, but I do have a solution to all this. I do have an interesting choice. And he allows them to basically join the Commonwealth. Now, all right, let's talk about the cliffhanger now. We skip 6 months in advance. Yeah, you heard me. 6 months in advance. I honestly still can't believe we skipped that much time. I thought it was going to be like a week, couple days, like something like that. But we skipped 6 months, and we see the hilltop as it's kind of being rebuilt. You get Daryl and the Commonwealth that shows up, and Daryl's in a full friggin' suit, takes off his helmet, and is like, yeah, this is the way we do things. That's the end. I'm like, what? What? Like, oh man. So, I mean, there you go, guys. That was the mid-season premiere of Walking Dead. Phenomenal episode, honestly. I mean, we're going to discuss it more in Q&As this week, but just for the review, I thought this was an amazing episode. Honestly, an amazing episode of Walking Dead. And honestly, if it has any indication of what's coming up, I am super excited. So anyway, let me know in the comment section below, what did you guys think of the mid-season premiere of The Walking Dead? Definitely let me know and write your comments in the comment section below. So of course, guys, if you're new here, click the subscribe button to miss my videos for The Walking Dead. Follow Dan's Walking Dead Instagram, guys. And of course, The Walking Dead is back. Get ready for more Walking Dead videos, and I'll see you guys really soon for another video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
My God, no!